Well, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning. Thanksgiving is over. We got about 10 inches of snow. And so luckily we got our Thanksgiving dinner in on Thanksgiving Day. And the snow started on Friday. So it's been snowing up until 3 a.m. this morning. So we got about... Okay. So I decided to use the Opulence Silver. It's a very holographic glitter powder, and it's different than just glitter. You actually burnish it in kind of the same way I did the silver, the Magik Silver. So when you do this, the longer you burnish it, the more holographic it gets. So, gosh darn it, I'm gonna move this camera. So I'm just brushing it in, and then you want to really push it in with your brush. And then I will put a color in the other ones. I will clean these molds up because I can see some of the powder getting in the other one. It wouldn't bother it if you didn't even want to clean it up, and just have a little sparkle in whatever color you put in there. Maybe on this one I'll put the glitter powder on the bigger ones, just to see the difference, and we'll see which one we like better. The ones I did a ton of these last year. I had a bunch of orders for them. These really sell, and I don't remember what I sold them for, but I sold them in sets, only because I had like 4 people that wanted like a set of 12 or 2 dozen. And they're not hard to do. They're very easy. So again, you need to make sure that you are burnishing these into your mold, and don't forget the sides. You don't have to worry about any getting on the silver, because the silver is already coated, and that's the first, that's the top color that you will see on that. So whatever colors I decide should go with silver. What do you think? Blue, green. I don't know why you couldn't do red, but I guess I associate red more with gold. I don't know. Yeah, probably a blue. All my brushes that I've been using are upstairs right now, and I didn't think to bring them down. So I'm just using this little one. It'll do. try to use my not so good brushes on stuff like this because of the burnishing. You know, you really got to scruff that in there. I'm going to turn them over and dump out any excess as soon as I'm done here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and finish them up. I'm going to do 2 like that with the centers and 2 with the outside like this. And I'll be right back. About 10 inches. So that's a little bit less than what we were expecting. So, but 10 inches is a lot of snow. Anyway, my husband took off this morning and he's over at the school, clearing out the parking lot, moving buses and shoveling snow to get ready for school on Monday. Who knows, they may cancel it, but they have to at least be prepared. I think the roads will be cleared by then. But anyway, you know, I've been working on these penguins, and so these 2 go together, and these 2 go together. I did make some of these trays. The molds aren't that good because I can see like unlevel areas here, so I'm going to pour a clear resin inside here. I thought about putting like maybe a napkin on there, but then I thought, well, maybe I'll just put a little glitter and clear resin and just, you know, then they'll sit on here, you know, and they'll look like that. Aren't those cute? Anyway, the other thing that I was going to do, so I'm going to, when I make resin for these ornaments, I'll make extra and put them in these trays. So I have 2 more upstairs. I'll just give those away as little gifts or something. I just love these Into Resin Christmas ornaments. And just if you ever order these, just know that the tips of the edges are sharp. And so if you want to take the time down to kind of file them down a little bit, I would. I do that on most of mine. But anyway, I have this Magik Silver, and it's a wonderful pigment that what I usually do is I put them in the center here, and it's very easy to wipe them on with one of these makeup brushes. And usually when you order those, I include one of these, and it stays nicely, and it just rubs on so nicely on those areas. I'm gonna get a little closer here. You see how shiny it is? I don't know if you can see that or not. And I'm not sure yet what colors I'm gonna put inside. I've done them with chameleons, and it looks pretty. I've done it with translucent inks. I've done it 2-tone before. These are in layers. I mean, they're like separated. So last year I made just all kinds of them. So like one section I would put one color, and then the other section I'd put a different color. Whatever that color was, I just filled the mold up. So I'm going to show you this as soon as I get this done, just how super shiny this silver is. And it goes on nicely. It doesn't fly away. It stays right on your brush and rubs right onto here. And when it comes out of the mold, it's like no other silver. You'll see. You know, I might just like put drops of ink in here and just pour clear in there. Who knows? You know, I always like to try to do something different. But the silver really looks good in the centers of these, because then it really pops. And it takes very little. Now I'm gonna, can you see that? It's really super pretty. All right, so I'm gonna finish up the rest of these. So did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Did you get all full of turkey? I went and picked up most of the groceries, but my husband was going to pick up, I wanted 2 turkey breasts, and because we quit doing the big turkeys because nobody wanted the dark meat. I mean, I like dark meat, but I can't eat all that. And the way I make my turkeys, it's so moist that I'll eat the breasts, you know. And the funny thing is, I have to tell you this story. Well, let me finish the story. Okay, so my husband, I sent him a picture of what the butterball turkey breasts look like, and he even sent me a picture back. Okay, I see him, and I don't know what he did, but he came home with 2 10-pound small turkeys. Now, used to be when I made the turkeys, I would always get like a 20 to 24-pound turkey, you know, and because my husband loves leftover turkey, and so do my kids, so then they all get to take a little bit home, you know. But we switched over to the turkey breast, so we wouldn't have so much. Anyway, so instead of having 2 6-pound turkey breasts, I wound up with 2 10-pound turkeys, which was 20 pounds. So there was lots of turkey. And the funny story was, last year, out of the clear blue, my grandson says, "I'm thankful for my Grammy's cooking, because we never get a dry turkey at her house." And it was so funny. And then this year, my son and my husband were talking in the other room while the food was all ready to go and everything. And the kids were sitting at the table, and my oldest grandson is 18, and the next one down is 13. He'll be 14. And my grandson's fiance, she's 18 too, but they're not getting married for like 2 years. Anyway, so they're sitting at the table, and I sat down, and well, actually, before I sat down, I could hear my grandsons talking in the dining room, and my oldest grandson said, "Wow, this turkey is so good," and my youngest grandson said, "Yeah, Dad already said it looked dry," and then I heard my oldest grandson reply, "What? No way, he hasn't even tasted this. How could he say that?" You know, it was funny. It was just, to be honest with you, it was the skin, you know. I mean, you brown it, and then what I do is I turn my turkey upside down, and Keeps all of the juices down at the breast when you turn it over. And then at the end, I turn it back over and let it rebrown a little bit. Anyway, it did look a little brownish, but wasn't dry one bit. I also stuff my up under the skin with, I take butter and a few strips of bacon, and then I put them through my little mini processor, and the butter has to be softened or it doesn't work. Anyway, then can you see what? Okay. Anyway, so then I just lift up the skin. You know, I stick my hand up under there and get that skin separated, and then I stuff that bacon butter up inside there, and you should try it. It's really good. Gives you a really good juicy turkey. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do here. I'm going to go mix resin, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I decided to use the Opulence Silver. It's a very holographic glitter powder, and it's different than just glitter. You actually burnish it in kind of the same way I did the silver, the Magik Silver. So when you do this, the longer you burnish it, the more holographic it gets. So, gosh darn it, I'm gonna move this camera. So I'm just brushing it in, and then you want to really, really push it in with your brush. And then I will put a color in the other ones. I will clean these molds up because I can see some of the powder getting in the other one. It wouldn't bother it if you didn't even want to clean it up, and just have a little sparkle in whatever color you put in there. Maybe on this one I'll put the glitter powder on the bigger ones, just to see the difference, and we'll see which one we like better. The ones I did a ton of these last year. I had a bunch of orders for them. These really sell, and I don't remember what I sold them for, but I sold them in sets, only because I had like 4 people that wanted like a set of 12 or 2 dozen. And they're not hard to do. They're very, very easy. So again, you need to make sure that you are burnishing these into your mold. And don't forget the sides. You don't have to worry about any getting on the silver, because the silver is already coated, and that's the first, you know, that's the top color that you will see on that. So whatever colors I decide should go with silver. What do you think? Blue, green, I don't know why you couldn't do red, but I guess I associate red more with gold. I don't know. Yeah, probably a blue. All my brushes that I've been using are upstairs right now, and I didn't think to bring them down. So I'm just using this little one. It'll do. I try to use my not so good brushes on stuff like this because of the burnishing. You know, you really got to scruff that in there. I'm going to turn them over and dump out any excess as soon as I'm done here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and finish them up. I'm going to do 2 like that with the centers and 2 with the outside like this. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got them all dusted. Right now I'm cleaning around the edges because all this shiny stuff, the glitter powder and the silver, Magik Silver, is all over the outside, which is not going to affect the ornament, but we just don't need it all on there. And so I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. Afterwards, I'll clean them all out. Okay, before I get started with the resin, I just want to show you a tip that I do when I measure my molds. Okay, so here's one of the other molds that I've got a total of 6. So what I do is I pour water in them. Sometimes you have to feel where the water is. Make sure it's the right amount. Okay. And then I pour them in here. Okay, so this is for 1 mold. So we have got almost hold on one second. We've got it up to this first line. So for 4, it would go all the way up to 1 cup. So that's just for those. And then I want to do a thin coat, which will probably only take half an ounce, and not even a half an ounce. So 4, 5, 6. So I'm just going to do 8. Even though it's a little bit more, I'll find something to put the extra resin in. Okay, so I need to make 8 ounces of resin. And I just want to show you how I mark for measuring resin. Okay, so for 8 ounces, which is right here, it's a cup, I'm going to do half a cup. You have to bend down to make sure you get all the way up to the line. It's perfect. And you pour it in your cup. This doesn't take that long once you get used to it. And then you mark it. And you take another 4 ounces. I'm bending down. You can't see me, but I'm bending down. And another 4 ounces. And that's how much resin we're gonna need. And then mark that. Then I dump the water out, back into my water jug. It's a filthy mess. That's from paint and who knows what all. Here's the top to it. It used to be my shaker cup, but I have so many of these. So I just keep them for my Aqua Cast and everything. Okay, so that's how I measure for resin. And here's my cup. Can you see the 2 gold lines? I'm gonna go wash this, or wipe this out with a paper towel to dry it, because resin does not like water at all. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I mixed up a cup of resin, 8 ounces, and I'm putting it in the Resiners Airless bubble machine. And then I'm going back here, closing up the valve here. Make sure that's on tight. There we go. All right. So let's do this thing. Might have to take my glove off. I talk on it. Hang on. There it goes. Oh. Okay, so we'll let that run for 5 minutes. Last time I didn't have to run it any longer, but sometimes depending on the viscosity of your resin, you may want to go another 5 minutes. So it's pretty warm here in my shop, so sometimes the temperature of where you're doing your resin can affect the bubbles. I did actually warm the resin while I was stirring it. So hopefully I'll just have to do 5 minutes. We'll see. Check later. Okay, this was 5 minutes. So I'm going to release the valve. You see all the bubbles went away. Probably won't be able to lift this off with one hand. Oh, I'm going to have to put this down. So there is a reason why this lid is, you know, can't be taken off with just one hand. It has to be tight on here, just as with the valve cover. It just needs to draw all the suction out of those bubbles. So that's why it's so hard. I mean, it was easy to take off with both hands, but one-handed you can't. So just so you know that. Okay, real quick, I'm just gonna pour a little dab in each one of these. And run them around my gloved hand. Now this is the Texture Cast. So it's gonna get darker. And use this. Resin is thick already. I think I'm gonna run some over the tops of these bubbles too. This one I used Texture Cast, but I did put, sorry, I have a mask on. I did put some white in it, so I wanted them to be whiter. This one you can see the texture on the inside of it. So I might put a piece of napkin over that. Just try and do this really fast. Look at that. You can really see the texture in that one. Just trying to hurry this up so I can get these other ones in the curator and get them going, the ornaments. These two I had the white mixed in, these two I did not. Just did them plain. And of course it doesn't look that different. I mean, you can still see a little more texture in the middle. I can always cover that up if I want. We'll see how it looks by the time I put a pink one on it. You won't be able to really know it. Let me get some more on the outside here. Okay, so I decided, I don't remember what I used the Magik Octopus inks for, but I used it once. And I think I'm gonna try using this with the silver. I think it'll be pretty. It'll be opaque, but we'll see. That was just 2 drops in there. There's about 4 more. Now this, I went from having 24, sorry if I sound muffled, but I have a mask on. I went from, when I first started carrying Octopus inks, I let Petra Gerbrecht and Sandra Reddick make a list of their favorite colors, and I needed a list of 24. And so they put a list together, and that's how many I started off with. And then little by little, I've added a few more, not a few more, usually anywhere from 10 to 12 extra ones each time. And if they sold, you know, I ordered those in smaller amounts. And, you know, depending on how they sold, then I, you know, ordered more. So anyway, I'm up to 70 colors now. And so far as I know, I'm the only one in the United States that carries them. You can order them through Octopus, I think. I know Eder Ink, or Eder Art, she does not ship her inks from Germany over to the U.S. because of all the paperwork and everything. It's considered, alcohol ink is considered a hazardous substance, so because of the alcohol. So they have to do a little bit more to ship them over to the U.S. Just so you know, the Octopus inks are a high quality ink. They are all alcohol inks. Even if it says resin ink, it is still an alcohol ink. I just wanted you to know that. A lot of people think that the alcohol inks are alcohol and the other ones are just a resin ink, and it's not alcohol, but it is. They're all alcohol. The only difference is the resin inks are more concentrated than the alcohol inks. And they are all high potent in the pigments. So they're very strong. You only need a drop or two. They last you forever. The inks that we get here in the United States are half-ounce bottles. These are full-ounce bottles. So if you see the price and you say $9.95, that seems kind of high. Well, that's because this is a full ounce and it'll last you forever. All right, I'm going to take, I'm going to take my phone down and go over to the G3 Curator right now. Okay, because my G3 Curator is on the other side of the shop, I don't have a light or a stand set up over here, so I'm just going to pour it in. And I just did these one color this time. Last year I did them two-toned. Now you can see a difference in this because the outside edges had the glitter powder on it. So it looks more silvery, but now this one looks more blue because the glitter powder's on the inner leaves of the ornament. Try and do this as fast as I can. What I usually like to do with these molds is to, once they're filled up, I like to pick them up and bend them outward. Make sure that all the resin goes into all the crevices. So I'm going to have to turn this off so that I can pick them up and do that. So we'll be back in just a few. Okay, here we go. Here's my bottle of alcohol. Just 2 little spritz. Those little bubbles will pop. See, they're popping as we go. Okay, I see some glitter floating around, but that's okay. Those aren't bubbles, those are glitter. Well, that was a bubble. I'm gonna give them one more. All right. So I'm just gonna let them sit here for just a few minutes, kind of let that alcohol dissipate. And then I'll turn the G3 Curator on. I did want to show you one of the ones I did last year. I think this is the silver pixie dust. You see the Magik Silver on the inside? And then I did this as a pearl color. And then I backed it with my silver glitter. But then I had some done with the chameleons. Those, I don't have any to show you, but I brushed them with chameleons and chrome powders, and then put the silver in the middle, and oh my gosh, they were so beautiful. All right, I will let you go, and we'll be right back. Okay, let's see here. Let's turn this on, and we'll keep those on thin. You see what the heat is, 140. That's perfect, and it's 2 hours. That's perfect. So we'll come back in 2 hours to demold them. Okay, these won't be cured until tomorrow or later tonight. I mean, it'll be tomorrow fully cured, but we don't really worry about those. We just know that these cute little penguins are gonna sit on there. But the ornaments are done, so let's see how they turned out. They might be a little bit bendy. So we'll lay them here on the table. So those are the ones that we put the silver dust on the bigger parts. And then this one is going to be the one that has the silver pixie dust on the little parts. Come on out of there. There. So see the difference? They're both very pretty. And I'm just going to lay them out there because they're a little bit bendy. But did you see the silver parts? I'll show them to you again. That Magik Silver is really, really nice. It looks like sterling silver by the time it's done. Come on, get out of there. Can you see the centers right in there? Yeah, you have to get it at the right angle for you to see it. There it is. Come on, get out of that hole. Well, which one do you like better? I think I like this one better. I don't know. I like them both, but that's a little more bling for your buck. And you could still decorate these up if you wanted. I just think they're pretty as is, and you can, you know, put some cute little ribbons through here. I got some string. I'll probably put string and then put a bow on them. But isn't that pretty? You got to get some of that Magik Silver. It's cheap compared to what everybody else is selling it for. There's only one other gal I know that's selling it that's the same stuff, and she's overseas, and she charges double what I charge, so, and it's international shipping too, so that's all I'm going to do, and I want to get this video uploaded, so I hope you enjoyed the ornaments. And I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. And always remember to be kind. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. You know, if you don't want to be treated badly, then don't treat other people badly. It's not a hard thing to do, you know. And practice what you preach. I hear a lot of people say being kind to others and stuff like that. And truly, you should be. And all these people, all these artists that have all these YouTubes and everything, they take the time to put out, you know, they put out more videos than I do. But, you know, I try to do better. And, you know, but I run a business too. So I'm not all about, you know, trying to earn money from YouTube. I'm more about showing off my products that I have available to you in my shop, you know. I have lots of stuff. I ended up putting in the little trays, I put in some iridescent flakes and some Frosty Night glitter because I thought the blue Frosty Night would look nice with the blue that's on the penguins. You want to see those one more time? These are the matching ones. And here's the other two matching. What I did with this one, I decided to put the little markings on them. But then, and I thought about putting the black where the black would be on a penguin. And I thought, no, let's stick with the napkin. So I just made this one where the black would be. I have the napkin. And this one I just did simpler, like, I don't know if that's supposed to be a male and female, or maybe a male and a baby. How's that? Anyway, they're too cute. I just love them. They remind me of, like, IKEA or something. So, anyway, be kind. And I don't know what else to say, but to be kind. It's not hard to do. It's free. And all these artists out there, if you're watching their videos, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, you know. They may be out there, you know, trying to make a buck, which it's all deserving because they're teaching you something on their channel. So each one of them. So just be generous and hit that like button and subscribe button. Okay? Have a great holiday. See you next time. Bye.